Here's Brad. Brad, you're a gay.
Yeah.
I'm going to only use the word gay as a noun for this entire video. See how that goes.
So, Tomodachi Life.
Tomodachi Life.
Can't be gay. Explain this situation.
Sure, okay. So the short version of the situation is that Tomodachi Life is a series, I think this is the second game in the series, that came out on the original DS in Japan. It's by the team who did WarioWare and Rhythm Heaven, which are two games I loved a lot.
Yeah,
and they decided, kind of shockingly, to bring this game to America.
Yeah.
They announced it with the weirdest...
Also, we were obsessed with the trailer for like a week.
That's why you can't trust anything I say or feel about this game, is because I've watched the Tomodachi Life Nintendo Direct like 15 times.
And I'm lukewarm. I'm not going to buy it. I considered it, but I decided not to.
Yeah.
So
the issue that has sort of cropped up is that in both the original game and in this version of the game, all characters in it are straight automatically.
Yeah.
There are no same-sex relationships in it at all.
Yeah.
And this isn't exactly the first time people have gotten upset about this in Nintendo games. I think like the Fire Emblem games sort of had a similar thing where people...
I thought there was like a lesbian couple, but maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe it's just
there's
like
a one-way, there's a dark mage who's obsessed with your protagonist regardless of her gender.
Oh,
so there are totally implied...
and also similarly in Pokemon XY, there's Shauna, and it sort of has like...
Flirts with a female protagonist. Yeah, totally. Well, so here's the difference, I think, between this situation and, or the perceived difference between this and like Fire Emblem. In Fire Emblem, it can just be canonically true that all those characters are straight, even though they play a lot with hinting at otherwise. Same with Persona, actually. But I think where Tomodachi Life is setting people off is because the characters are ostensibly you and your friends.
Yeah. But they're not really, though. It's more like they're living dolls wearing your skin. Like they're not really you, because they don't.
Why don't they just market it that way?
But they don't make choices. They don't make the choice. They kind of reflect your personality. So it's kind of different. It's I mean, it's more like Sims.
It is,
based on you and your friends.
But here's the thing: the Sims in the year 2000 had gay relationships in it.
But you have more control over Sims too.
That's true. You did have a direct control mode, and I think that that's an interesting point that is kind of getting lost in this discussion.
Right. So I mean, I don't know if we've thoroughly recapped it, but basically the situation is your characters can't be gay. People are mad that characters can't be gay, even if it's based on a person who is gay in real life.
Right. And so another thing that that I think is important to note is that Nintendo has responded to this in kind of a shitty way. It wasn't the most
shitty,
articulate.
But it's like shitty. I saw some articles saying it's like shitty, but it's like hiding hatred. But I think it's really just, it just seems like dumb PR speak, not trying, like there's no agenda.
You described it as tone deaf, which I think
it is tone deaf, which is weird because Nintendo's messaging has been so spot on, but they have been
in other situations.
Yeah, in other situations lately, and like they have been. And I guess they didn't really respond to the Animal Crossing race thing, like not being able to. But
so I think that the fact that they're responding, that they're listening, is sort of progress in a way. Like the fact that they said we are listening and we're taking this feedback seriously is a step in the right direction for a company who is usually. I mean, here's the thing. Like there are sort of a couple reasons why Tomodachi Life, as it exists today, isn't going to change. One of those is that it comes out in less than a month.
Yeah.
But another is, I think that is just kind of an excuse for them to hide behind. Like, they can say, oh, it's too late for us to change it, the Japanese code base is the same, but if you look, like, they changed a lot of stuff from the Japanese version. They took out the sumo wrestling minigame and changed it to a football game. They changed enough that they could conceivably have done it, and saying that it comes out soon and they're using the Japanese code base is kind of just a nice excuse, like saying, they could. They can't change it now.
So
but
my problem with the idea
have?
of changing it is so you still can't control your characters, and unless you have like a sexuality button on the character, which I mean I'm gay and I think that would be weird to have that in that kind of character.
As a toggle?
Yeah, I think
it'd be clumsy, I guess.
It would be clumsy, yeah. Like if you were controlling a character and you could make those choices actively, that makes more sense. But a toggle is weird, or even I don't know. It just seems like a weird, clumsy way to do AI characters. Like I feel like in The Sims, there's no gay slider. You just like tell them to be, but like sort of the point of Tomodachi Life is you don't know what they're gonna do, like, and it's surprising.
And I think that's
so it's like a complicated, like, because are people saying that? Because I think people are saying that Nintendo won't let you play as a gay character, but the reality is, your characters make choices that aren't your fault, or aren't you're not choosing what they do, and then they, so the alternative that they seem to be suggesting is that characters just sometimes are gay randomly, or that there's a slider, and both of those seem like the sometimes are gay seems fine, but it seems like it'll just sort of come off as like comic relief, which I feel people would be mad about that too.
That's the weird thing, and I think that's something that so few of the people, ourselves included, in this conversation have played Tomodachi Life.
Yeah.
One guy who has, Christian Nutt, wrote a really awesome write-up on Gama Sutra about his experience and his husband's experience playing the game. And like in the game, his husband married, I think, the girl from The Big Bang Theory or something.
Really?
And he was like, on the one hand, it's weird to see my straight me, or my gay me, who's been a gay me for the past 8 years, get married to a woman. On the other hand, though, like, we laughed when that happened, because
it's still
all
funny.
the marriages, the thing about Tomodachi Life is that, like you said, and I think a lot of people are missing this, you're not in control of anything that happens.
Yeah.
So you randomly marry characters, and that's the joke. The joke is that you would marry a celebrity, and that the marriages are used, according to Christian,
I think
as
people
punchlines.
don't understand the game very well, but they like are immediately equating it to like you can't be gay, like you can't marry a gay elf in whatever, like Dragon Age. But it's not that at all. It's these characters that are autonomous. It's like getting mad that an NPC is like that there's no gay NPCs, which I guess I could see somebody, but it's like, I don't know. It's not as clear cut to me as it would be if like you could date characters actively and then it wouldn't let you date certain ones.
And I think that's why I'm really sympathetic with an understanding of the frustrations people have, is because from the outside looking in, it looks like a huge omission. It looks like a game where you are playing as yourself.
Yeah.
And if that was what Tomodachi Life was, if it was a game about representation.
Yeah, and it's not. It's a game about dissonance between the real person and the thing. So,
right.
And that's the joke of every scene.
Yeah, and I think looking at Nintendo's statement about Tomodachi Life is supposed to represent a fantastic reality that isn't our own.
Yeah.
That statement sounded really shitty before we had a better sense of what Tomodachi Life was.
Honestly, I think it wouldn't be terrible if characters did randomly, like if characters, I think it would not be bad, and it could be a solution to just allow a small percentage of characters, like male or male female, to hook up as, but I also think that maybe not as much. There might have still been some backlash, probably after the fact, people being like, oh, they're making a joke out of it, which they kind of, people like talked about that with like the Super Gay Fighter game, and I mean, because like it does like a really silly, like it's like soap opera-y the way the game looks, but I don't know, maybe that is the solution. I just personally I'm not bothered.
I mean, that was kind of my next question. Like, have you ever personally been bothered that you weren't able to like make a gay choice in a game?
No, but I know a lot of gay guys who will play Animal Crossing, and they'll just, like, you can't actually date the animals in Animal Crossing anyway, but sometimes people will like pretend that they're going on dates. Like, I know a lot of people who just in general pretend they're like dating a certain character in Animal Crossing, and I know guys who've done that with like certain animal, like male animal characters and stuff, and they do, like, the dialogue is kind of funny. I also think it's kind of weird because Nintendo is like siloed because they're so Japanese, and like this is like such an American issue, and it's like I think that there's a lot of them not even thinking about this stuff when they are making the game originally, and then it's like on the localizations team's job, and it's, you know,
that's where it gets muddled. I think. On the one hand, I think,
but no, I haven't actually ever been bothered by that.
I think on the one hand, it's not a perfect excuse to be like, there's a cultural difference. Like, gay marriage is not legally recognized in Japan, and obviously it's a different culture, but also I don't think they get a pass for that.
Like,
you can't be like, oh, it's, they have a long,
Uganda
thorough
is a
history
different
of bigotry,
culture.
so it's okay. Like, that doesn't make it okay. But it does give you better insight into, it seems when an American game company releases a game about you and your friends that doesn't have homosexuality as an option, that would feel like a snub. When a Japanese company does it, it truly does come from a different place. Like,
I will say though that I have played games where I'm forced to play as a straight character, and there's like choices, and I still get invested in the relationship, and I still will, like, actively pursue because I feel like you're still role playing a person that's not you, even if they look like you. And also, it's just like I'm not self-aware that I'm expecting all media to cater to me, even though it just historically doesn't, and like sometimes economic. Like, I'm not I'm not mad that there's no like blockbuster movies with like main gay characters, because like that, just like I understand the economics behind that, and like I can watch indie movies with gay main characters, you know, and I can play indie games with gay. So I mean, but then again, this is a small weird game that probably it wouldn't have been that off-putting. But,
and I think the instinct for representation is totally something that I can sympathize with. I get wanting that, and I also would like it if a game would let me marry Miyamoto. So
sure.
So boycotting Tomodachi Life until I can marry Reggie in a video game. That is my official stance on the matter.
Yeah.
Fair
enough. But there's a workaround where you can just make me male or female and change the gender.
Reggie's head on a hot lady body, Game of the Year.
Game
Congratulations, Nintendo. You made it hotter somehow?
Yeah.
I don't...
Good job.
Thanks, I guess.